Welcome to Old Folks Racing PC and welcome to the Ginetta G58, an amazing prototype car that the old folks are going to race around the beautiful South African Kyalami circuit. There you go. It's a very twitchy circuit, but also very fast in a lot of sections. It should provide good racing with this car. And this is race 2 of round 8. Mark Elder and Darren Head are on pole position, followed by Jurgen Smets and Diogo Silva on the second row. Look at how close they are as the lights go to green and away they go for this 20-minute race. And look at that, everyone has got a good start at the front, and we are following now Matt Cowart and some drivers there are getting too close to one another. Let's see the first braking point if everything goes according to plan, and everyone seems to have gone through nicely through that very tricky braking point. We are still on the first lap, and Mark Elder has gone, contact there at the front, and very close racing indeed with this prototype, but so far so good in terms of incidents, as Mark Elder has retained the lead over Darren Head, Jurgen Smets, Diogo Silva and Rob Oldham. Teen of Spam is up into 5th, Matt Cowart is 6th, David Good in 7th, and Kalgakus, the other Rob, is in 8th place. As we go through the field, look at Kev Allen, he's down there in... and someone has spun in front of Kev Allen. Who was that? That was, I believe, that was Jorge Luna that span and lost control of the car on the first lap on his own, but he rejoins the race in 12th place, 12 laps, 12 drivers, I'm sorry. We are going to see how many laps we are going to have in this race. But absolutely, and this is a good one. That was Rob Oldham on the inside of Diogo Silva. That was quite important for 4th position. Diogo Silva caught napping a little bit there in that corner, and we're still on the first lap of this race. We have a timer somewhere in there, and it says that it's still 20 minutes to go in this race as we follow Jurgen Smets, that is following Darren Head, and Mark Elder has already opened a gap of 1.3 seconds. So interesting for the championship. Look at that, there was close there between Rob Kalgagus and I believe it was David Good. That's the battle for 7th place, and is getting quite close for comfort there as we are on the second lap. Look at that, they're running side by side now. There's going to be a very fast right-hander, and look at Kalgakus, he's on the outside and he's going to do it. That is a very good overtake, with not an easy one with that Ginetta G58 to overtake here, but that was a good clean move for 7th place with David Good now down to 8th. We are still on the second lap of this race, and at the front you can see that the gap is 1.5 seconds, and that is already quite substantial in terms of the lead. We follow Rob Oldham, that is currently in 4th, and he can see the top 3 ahead of him as he tries to not lose touch with the leading pack of this race. Rob Oldham, of course, a rookie in the Old Folks Racing PC and also in the Old Folks Racing PlayStation, but causing quite an impression. Look at that, there was a big lock up there from, I believe, Darren Head in 2nd place, and that's not going to help his tires for sure in this race. Rob Oldham making quite a good impression here in Kyalami with this prototype car, as he is right with the leading pack. He's currently in 4th, and here we follow Kev Allen. He was 11th, but with Jorge Luna, look at this, there's a big dive there, and that they're going to go side by side with Phil, and Kev Allen almost going through, but not quite, as to complete a clean pass with this car is actually quite complicated. It doesn't look like it. It's quite a fun car, but of course a lot of parity is what happens with a combo like this, as look at the lap times. I mean, they are fairly similar across the board. Mark Elder currently the fastest, 1:35.9, the only driver to be under a minute 36, and then look at that, pretty much everyone in the entire field very, very close indeed. Darren Head tries not to lose touch with Mark Elder, but is proving to be difficult at this point as we are already on lap 3 of this race. Jürgen Smets trying not to lose touch with Darren Head. So we've got a battle here for second place that is going to be fascinating to watch during the rest of the race, with Rob Oldham really now nose to tail with Jürgen, and this is going to be interesting because here comes one of the very few overtaking points of this circuit where you can make a clean pass, and that is after the long straight. We'll look at Cavallo really getting a little bit frustrated there. He believes he has more pace than Phil, but not quite the ability to convert that into a clean pass, which is a lot of patience will be required from all these drivers this afternoon, because as we saw in race 1, the racing will be quite competitive, and of course Darren had won that race as Mark Elder had a drive-through penalty for a jump start. But the parity just makes it more difficult for drivers to make a clean overtake. Diogo Silva continues to be in 5th spot, and he's a very attentive spectator of the battle, well, the top 4 battle. Now we cannot really see Mark Elder anymore because he's actually 2.6 seconds, so he's running away with this race somehow, and clearly needs a win to keep his championship lead in a healthy manner, as he really, after a few wins in the beginning of the season, Darren Head is giving him a real challenge. And look at that, Darren Head really really now locking up and loses time there, but Jürgen Smets not able to go side by side, and of course that wasn't really an overtaking spot anyway, as they, look at that, Darren Head really locking up a lot. And now he has messed up the exit of the last corner, and Jürgen Smets could actually have an opportunity as we, and see, there's a spin. There's a spin there that was, I think Matt Coward has spun. Yes, Matt Coward has spun and lost the position, or did he? This is David. That was Kalgakus. I'm sorry. I'm hesitating here because the liveries are very, very similar indeed, but Rob has dropped to 9th place, so he got overtaken in one go by David Good. Now he's coming back at Phil, and this is side-by-side racing there, and Phil gives him space, but tricky situation here because Phil wanted to avoid an accident. On the other hand, he didn't want to lose the position, so some good racing here, and of course still a long time to go in this race for Phil to recover the position, as the getting a little bit too close for comfort there, clearly, as Cavallo continues to try to work now on and Cavallo has spun. Disaster for Cavallo, and the season is really not getting really not evolving the way he was expecting, but he's now basically, and someone was spinning there. That was who was it? I don't think, well, I can't figure out who that was, but I definitely saw a car spinning there as Diogo Silva continues to be in 5th, and now this, and Rob Oldham has spun on his own and he hits the barrier. Fortunately no damage, but will he lose a lot of time? Yes is the answer. Will he lose a lot of positions? Yes is the answer too. He lost at least one position to Matt Coward, who is now 5th. Disaster for Rob Oldham that he has had an incident on his own, and such a great start to the race as we are getting to the midpoint of this race. That is not what Rob Oldham needed, a spin at this point in time. Now this has left the quarter. Look at that, someone is losing it, and that was again Rob Oldham again losing it, so must have some sort of problem as he loses now a lot more track position. He had dropped from 4th to 5th. Now he's down in 9th place, so two consecutive unforced errors mean that Rob Oldham is really dropping down the order, as Diogo Silva is all of a sudden look at that, locking up again. Darren Head is locked up a number of times. Fortunately no tire wear in Old Fox Racing PC, unlike in the Old Fox Racing PlayStation, otherwise Darren Head's tires would be seriously damaged by now. Anyway, this quartet has now become a trio of drivers, as Diogo Silva tries not to lose touch with with Jürgen Smets and Darren Head. Now look at Mark Elder, he has a lead of 4.5 seconds already, so he's definitely running away with this race as they complete another lap, and they are already on lap 7. The leader is on lap 7. Rob Kalkagus is now running 7th. Remember, he was delayed, but then also got advantage by other drivers spinning, specifically Rob Oldham, that has dropped down the order quite a bit. This is Mark Elder in the lead of the race. So far so good for him, and definitely a return to victory lane would be very important for him in this race, as it would stop a series of consecutive wins by Darren Head. So Mark Elder clearly, and he's gone off, he's gone off, he's in the gravel, and the gravel in this game is quite sticky, as look at that, the top 3 are through, and disaster again for Mark Elder. And this is the action replay, as we see Mark Elder just losing it, and the curb has caused this, this was quite a strange off-road excursion. And look at that, clearly the gravel is problematic in this game, and like in Project Cars 2, and Mark Elder has a lot of work to do, because not only he lost a lot of time, look at this, Darren Head continues to lock up consistently in the same corners. Mark Elder has not only a lot of work to do, lost a lot of time, but also importantly lost a lot of track position, which in this circuit with this car is absolutely crucial, as you can see by the fact that these 3 drivers have run 8 laps now, or 7 laps. They're going to complete 7 laps in exactly the same order. Their pace is very, very similar indeed, and no one can get the clean advantage. And look at that now. This is a good opportunity for Diogo Silva, as the Jürgen Smets actually slid a little bit, and more dramas here with David Good now getting overtaken by Rob Kalkagus, and that was a nice switcheroo there as they go side by side now through the start-finish line to start another lap. That's going to be lap 8. We are past the midpoint of this race. Look at that nice side-by-side racing. Who is going to be the bravest, the late breaker here? And the answer is Rob, as David Good loses the position, and Rob is up to 6th, which is a pretty good position. Look at that, he's certainly gone up the order by consistent pace and no mistakes, and a lot of speed indeed. He's up into 6th. Now these drivers are a little bit far from the top 5, but anything is possible in this race, and I would be curious to see how Mark Elder is going to recover, if he's indeed recovering, as he's actually not that far behind the top 3. He's only a couple, 3 seconds, a bit less than 3 seconds, under 3 seconds. Look at that, there was a bit of a dive there by David Good, but fortunately Rob saw it coming, but now they've got contact between these 2 drivers, and really hard racing, but still fair enough between. Look at that, look, there's a bit of a late break. And this was David Good. Of course he's going to wait for Rob, and that's good to see. He's going to wait for Rob to recover, but this also means that all of a sudden there are 2 or 3 other drivers around here. This is the action replay of what happened with and David actually, no one actually lost any position. No, I think Phil is up to 7th place, but now we've got this quartet. And look at this, this is again now Rob Oldham trying to recover a bit of position, and he's going to attack David Good. This is a nice battle here for basically 8th place, I'm sorry, as Phil is also working on Rob Kalkaguz in what is effectively turn 1, the first real corner, the first real breaking point. Now this is a nice quartet, but we're also seeing that Mark Elder is slowly... Oh, and that din of spam, that's Rob Oldham has made another mistake in the same place. That is not the right time for a mistake, because now there's not a huge amount of time to recover as we are about to enter the last third of this race. Phil continues to follow Rob Kalkaguz, the other Rob, as he battles for 6th place, and all of a sudden Phil has really come into the picture for this 6th. The running wide there, almost into the gravel, but got away with it. Now we are seeing Jürgen Smets. Now, of course, what I did not mention, but is fairly obvious, is that Darren Head went into the lead of the race, so again he might win both races in the round. But where is Mark Elder? He's in 4th place and he's not that far. He's only 1.5 seconds from... Well, that's not 1.5 seconds. I can't see where Mark Elder is. This is Diogo Silva. I'm sorry, I keep mixing up the liveries. It would be interesting to see visually where is Mark Elder. Diogo Silva is in 3rd place, and he has lost a bit of touch with certainly with Darren Head. Let's look at the gaps, shall we? Because there's still a race here for, well, potentially for the win, as the top 4 are really not that far from one another. Phil continues to battle with Rob Kalkaguz for 6th place, and Rob Oldham is behind these drivers. He's up into 8th, so he's past David Good. We haven't really seen that. David in 9th spots. 10th is Jorge Luna. 11th is still Kev Allen, still not recovered much, and is 6 seconds behind Jorge Luna. Lots of drivers locking up there, as another lap is complete. We are on lap 10 already. Ooh, almost this is Mark Elder. So this is the answer to the question I was posing a couple of minutes ago. Of course, we now move away from Mark, but basically Mark is back into the leading pack. So his pace, look at his pace on the last lap, 1:37.8. That was the fastest of anyone in the top 4. So we probably at some point should follow the battle for the lead between the top 4. But what an interesting, tasty battle we have here for 5th spot, as Matt tries to hold on to it, and we've got Phil being attacked by Rob Oldham, and that was a good move there by Rob at the inside of the last corner. But now Phil comes back at him, and they're going to go side by side, and of course Phil is on the inside for the first real corner of this Kyalami circuit, as he goes on the inside, and it seems to me that he's got the advantage somehow. But Rob Oldham closes the door, and that was perhaps a little bit too aggressive there. The chase camera replay is going to be here. This is Rob on the inside in the last corner, then runs wide obviously, but doesn't go off track completely. Now Phil is coming back at him, and they're absolutely side by side, nothing between the two. Now Phil does have the inside line for the next corner, and he is going to brake later. Then that was a slightly different perspective, because I think that Phil was a little bit too straight there. Went a bit too straight when probably should have turned. So I'm going to review my verdict here. I think that's probably more of a 50-50, potentially even, Rob Oldham was entitled to at least have the outside line through the corner, which didn't really happen. But these two are really giving no inch to one another, and behind them we have David Good in 9th position, hoping to benefit if they tangle as we get into the late stages of this race, and everything is to play for, including at the front. But nothing seems to be really happening at the front, because Darren Head continues to lead, and and this was Rob Oldham now on the outside, and that is a very, very optimistic maneuver, but somehow they've not tangled, and somehow Rob Oldham has actually executed the pass. A bit of an unconventional pass there by Rob Oldham, but he's up into 7th, as these two are really giving no inch to one another. No, Rob spins. Oh, they both spin. Disaster. But oh dear, I think Rob just spun on his own and then collected field, nowhere to go, and clearly no intention by either driver to mess up. Oh, look at Rob Oldham, he's losing a lot of time, can't press the reset button, has to recover. And what is this? A few moments ago, this is Mark Elder, and remember, he's in 4th place, and what we're going to see is, oh, Darren Head locking up again. And well, what is about to happen here? Mark Elder really can't find a way so far to get into the top 3. He's running the same livery as Diogo Silva, so that makes it a bit difficult to identify the two drivers. But clearly Diogo Silva is losing touch with Jürgen Smets, and look at that, Diogo Silva is trying to, oh, now he's made a mistake in the last corner. Here comes Mark Elder. This is the real opportunity for Mark Elder to go into 3rd place, and we are quite curious to see the breaking point, who is going to be the last of the late breakers. Diogo Silva already coming to the inside to defend, and now he's coming to cover the outside. That's a bit too much weaving by Diogo Silva potentially here, as he moved more than once. But anyway, Mark Elder being quite cautious, but will need to have more aggression if he is to go into the top 3 of this race. And clearly championship implications here are extremely important, because Darren Head is challenging for the championship lead, and he's also in the lead, and Mark Elder has got 2 other cars between him and Darren, and is running out of time to make a clean pass on either driver, as actually is now Diogo Silva that is closer to Jürgen Smets than Mark Elder is to Diogo Silva. So all of a sudden here is the onboard with Diogo Silva as they go into the hairpin. And will he try to dive there? Not quite. 1 or 2 more laps to go is what I envisage for this race. The laps are 1:38, and this is a 20-minute race, so we should have time for a couple more laps, I would say. So perhaps it's going to be 14 laps. We are on lap 12. We are at the end of lap 12, and probably time for 2 more laps. So 2 more opportunities for Mark Elder to try to, oh, look at that, Mark Elder is really trying to get the last corner right, but did he? Now Diogo Silva actually has got a good exit, and I think he's a bit too far behind, but you never know with a bit of a dive what is possible into turn 1. Diogo Silva is already trying to cover his line again, as they, oh, look at that late braking from Mark Elder, but not extremely useful, as he wasn't able to use that to dive on the inside of Diogo Silva. And look at that, Darren Head continues to absolutely lock up pretty much every lap, as he, well, he's running out of time, isn't he? And nothing seems to be happening in the top 4. The top 3 have been in this order for, you know, pretty much the entire race, and Mark Elder of course has led. Oh, look at that, he's made a mistake now, but recovered. But Mark Elder of course has led the race and then went off on his own. But really the top 3, Darren Head has been ahead of Jürgen, and Jürgen has been ahead of Diogo Silva basically since the green flag. So again, quite difficult to overtake. Look at this, Mark Elder really trying hard in that number 20 car to break later than Diogo Silva, but really not enough. Really not enough to make a clean pass. And I wonder, well, is the next lap the last lap? I believe that would be the case, as I can see there's only 1 minute to go, and we are going to have 14 laps on this race. Darren Head is starting his last lap, I believe, in that number 40, and he's going to win again. Massive championship implications here in the Old Fox Racing PC season for winter 2022. And this is an actual replay of Mark Elder, and oh, and he hit Diogo Silva in the back. But is he going to wait? I believe so, and I believe that actually the race is over now. I'm sorry, I misinterpreted the timer, but Darren Head has actually won the race, and only 13 laps complete. Jürgen Smets finished second, Diogo Silva in third, Mark Elder only fourth, and this is going to hurt his championship lead. Fifth is Matt Coward, and sixth is going to be Rob Kalkagus. Seventh is going to be David Good. We haven't quite seen what happened to Phil. Oh yes, we have seen Phil and Rob Oldham go head to head, and look at this is Cavallan trying to salvage a good result here as he is behind Jorge Luna, but Jorge is having none of it. Oh, but he now goes into the gravel, into the barrier. Oh dear, and he ends up in ninth spot. The pressure from Cavallan has paid off at the end of the day, as he manages to take 8th place on the last lap, and that is the completion of the race. Another victory for Darren Head. We look forward to rounds 9 and 10 for an amazing championship battle to be followed, of course, here in your favorite OFR channels. See you soon.